Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, welcoming the hilarious Ray Santiago from Starz' Ash vs. Evil Dead to Behind the Velvet Rope. Make sure to check out Season 2 now on Starz. I hear it's great. Check it out. Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade. One of my favorite shows over the last year features you, Ray Santiago. Congratulations, man. I'm going to hold this up. Look, it matches your coat.
Yeah, I'm glad you got the memo. Our show features this color quite often, so I try and bring red with my red game wherever I go, just to make you feel like the blood is everywhere.
The show is Ash versus Evil Dead. Dude, this show, what's been the fan reaction? I remember, I interviewed you season 1, and I was just saying to you off camera, I'm like, are they really going to be able to transform this cult classic into a successful TV show? And you guys crushed it. What's been the reaction?
I'm so thrilled that the fans have sort of accepted the new characters and the new version of the franchise. Because you never know. You know, horror fans are extremely loyal, but they also are very adamant about vocalizing how they feel, and if they don't like something, then they definitely let you know. And we lucked out because the fans are super excited. So excited that we got picked up for another season, which is what is available for them to watch.
You got picked up right away, by the way. I think you guys were really cleared after after episode 3 or something. It was crazy.
Yeah. I remember we got picked up for second season the night of the big premiere.
Yeah, so it was episode 1 even. You're right.
Yeah, so the first episode hadn't even aired, but yeah, the fans have loved it, and now they're going to get their share of what they've been clamoring for, because they've been the diehard fans have been hassling Bruce to make this show for a very long time, and now we get to take this cult classic comedic horror franchise that started out as a film, and we bring it to people's homes, and they get to have a 5.5-hour film that's sort of just spliced up into shorter versions.
So last we left it, obviously Ash and the crew were in trouble at the end of season 1. Where do we see you guys go in season 2?
Well, season 2, we go back to Ash's hometown. He made a deal with Ruby, who's been, our sort of nemesis of last season. The deal went awry, and we're going back to visit his hometown and see where he came from, see what turned him into
the Ash that we know.
The Ash that we know.
The train wreck that we know.
But this season, Pablo is sort of still suffering from the trauma of what happened to him in the cabin. For those of you who watched last season, you know that he had a birthing scene out of his mouth. So demons were coming out of this hole. I'm just glad they didn't come out of that hole. And so he is a little bit darker, not as naive as he was last year. There's an undeniable connection to the Necronomicon, and this season he will be tortured by the Necronomicon and the Evil Force yet again, but we will sort of see him go on this journey to becoming more than just a sidekick, maybe becoming the hero that he never thought he could be. Pablo wants 3 things in this Evil Dead world, and that's to stay alive, get the girl, and be a hero. And I can tease that we get to, see one of those things happen this season.
Yeah, well, I hope it's getting the girl, because the sexual tension between you and Dean, it was one of the most hilarious parts of the show, because it would literally be these moments where, finally, they're going to hook up, and then somehow Pablo would just blow it. He was, the worst.
Well, actually, I don't think that Pablo would blow it. I think it's Kelly who's a hard ass. And in an interview, we talked about someone asked her what is it that stops you from you're such a badass. What would stop you in your tracks? What's the thing that would just destroy you? And she's like, what's the challenge for you? And she said, I think for Kelly, it's love. And I've never actually heard her say that before. And so it made sense why she's been sort of not allowing Pablo to get what he wants. We're sort of like the Ross and Rachel of comedic horror television. So, I'll take it. I'm never going to give up. I told her, I was like, I'm never going to give up. Pablo's never going to give up trying to get it from you because, with time, initially you love I loved Dana, but with time, that love actually grows. We've actually gotten closer. The entire cast has gotten closer because we shoot in New Zealand. We're far from any normalcy. We're far from all of our family and friends, and we go to this sort of like isolated place, and we make the television show and we go on this crazy journey, and it's sort of like what you see on the television show where the characters are sort of traveling together and they have to learn to trust each other and have each other's backs. And so with each journey that we go through, we learn to love each other a little bit more. So I miss her when I'm not around her, and you'll just have to wait and see if it happens. But I will say this: Pablo does get naked this season. There are a couple of women on top of him, and it's going to be a fun-filled, bloody roller coaster ride this season for sure.
I can't wait till the official spin-off, Ash versus or Kelly and Rachel. Oh my God, I've got all the names confused already. But
Kelly and Pablo versus
Kelly and Pablo, the Ross and Rachel of sci-fi, the spin-off. So this, the fans have been just awesome with you guys. I mean, you just had the panel at New York Comic Con, huge turnout.
Yeah.
What have been some of the cool fan reactions you've dealt with? Enjoyed, whatever the wording would be.
I would say, having my first cosplay experience, at San Diego Comic-Con was a bit overwhelming. I think, but in a good way. As a kid, I always wanted to be somewhat of a superhero. I pretended to save the girl from the monster, and I pretended to, run from the monster. And on Ash, I have the opportunity to be this sidekick. I'm one step closer to being the superhero that I wanted to be as a kid. And, getting to see the fan reactions and how they sort of take the relationship of the characters, and then when they see us, they do really idolize us. That's been the most rewarding part, to spend decades trying to get an opportunity like this, and then to see fans that are moved by our characters. Even though our show isn't this big dramatic show, it's a fun show. It's high octane, fast paced, thrilling ride into the world of cult comedic classic horror, and people are moved by that. That's it's a new thing. Our show is not like any other show. We don't take ourselves too seriously, and we just want to make people laugh. And we really want to do a throwback to what the genre is, which was created by Sam Raimi. And so I'm just happy to be a part of the future of the show. And the fans love it. And I would encourage the fans that have not seen it, the new, the yet-to-be fans, to check out Season 1 and Season 2. It's on Starz on Sundays at 8, and it's also available on the Starz app, which is free to download and only less than $10 to keep the app.
All right, so having interviewed your cast, Bruce, nicest dude on the planet. Lucy's great, Dana's great. How much fun, what goes on behind the scenes? Like, you guys were filming in this crazy environments, these crazy sets. What do you guys like off camera?
Most of us are party animals. I would say that off camera, Lucy is, well, on camera and off camera, Lucy is incredibly sophisticated. She's incredibly patient. She's like a savant. She wants to learn every language possible. She has a thirst for different cultures and food, and so she's recently been to Italy, and so she really loves to just learn things. And having been around for so long, I think that she's seen all of the moments that Dana and I are having now, and she's seeing them through our eyes. So nothing really phases her. She's like, Comic-Con, done it.
Yeah, she's been part of that world for so many years now.
So what she does is she tries to enjoy other things outside of what this sort of world provides, but also I actually can see her living vicariously through us. She's like, I'm so happy that I get to go to Comic-Con and see it through your eyes, and so that's how she is. She's super cool. Bruce is also super cool. He's a perfectionist. Somehow he manages to say the shittiest lines the best way possible.
No one does it like him.
No one does a one-liner like Bruce Campbell.
No one.
And so I very quickly learned, on this show, you may not have all the one-liners because it's usually Bruce, but they usually cut to my face, and it's usually some sort of reaction where the three mustaches on my face do something, and the eyeballs.
Oh my God, I want to test this right now. Let's pretend I'm Bruce. My one-liners won't be as good, but you're gonna give me reaction shots. Ready? Mm-hmm. I gotta think of some Ash level lines, you can't touch this body. Ready? Let's do another one. This is great. I want to just do this the rest of the interview. Ready? All right. What do you mean she doesn't want me?
Doesn't want you, Hefe.
That's the best. He doesn't want you, Hefe. Is awesome.
So yeah, so Bruce is dope. Bruce takes really good care of us. He chartered not a plane. Bruce is dope. He chartered a ship to take us out into the middle of the water in New Zealand, and there was like catering, and then there was a full bar, and then we like jumped into the water and swam to this like beach from the ship, and Bruce was chased by like a drone, and he has like poker nights at his place, and he always likes to take us out to dinner. So we have a good time.
I want Bruce to be my BFF after talking to you.
We have a good time. We also go to Rob Tappert's house, which is our executive producer, who's married to Lucy, and we had this dinner at their house where they had like a matzah hunt, like the cracker, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I'm Jewish. Yes.
They had this like hunt in their house where we had to find like the pieces of the cracker, and we'd get like $20, and so we have a good time, and it's kind of nice to leave the LA bubble, go to New Zealand, and it's so funny that these people who are so family oriented, the whole crew, they like to stick together, they like to make sure everybody's taken care of and treat us like a family. Lucy said in an interview, "What does Evil Dead mean to you?" She said family. It's so funny that these people who make this show that is not family friendly at all somehow manage to be super family oriented and friendly. I watch it with my family. I watched it with my 8-year-old niece and 11-year-old niece and my 3-year-old little cousin. We cover his eyes, but so I've met an array of fans that watch the show, from older couples watching it together to little kids. I've met 9-year-olds that come to the Comic-Con. So somehow what's awesome about what I'm doing on the show and the fact that it's around now is that we've diversified the cast, and
Yep.
we are bringing it to a whole other generation, and we have Starz to thank for that. With the content that they've been putting out, it's extremely diverse, and we're now bringing it into a whole new generation, and hopefully it'll live on for another 30-something years, and I'll have to
Ash is going to be like in a
wheeling him out.
wheelchair.
Yeah, we'll be wheeling him out and cranking up the chainsaw for him.
Do you when you look at the effects, one of the things I really like is the effects aren't like the movies were, and it was a different time period, but they were kind of cheesy back then. But the effects that we see now are like movie quality. Like, what's it like when you're doing it? Like, how do these effects get done? Like the blood splattering and the demons coming out of your mouth, and like, how's it all get done?
Well, surprisingly enough, I think we talked about this, and Bruce and the gang, we decided that we think like 70% of the show is actually practical effects. So 30% is CGI. We have blood cannons. We have an amazing prosthetic team. We each have to undergo body casts. So you get a body cast at the start of each season, and you know that you're no longer safe. Once they have that body cast, anything can happen. They can chop off your legs, chop off your head, they can shoot a hole in you. I mean, anything can happen on this show. But it comes with the territory. So let's see. I would say that I spent maybe 3.5 hours for one episode. Well, not one episode, it was 2 episodes, 3.5 hours in the chair each day. So that means you're being called in earlier than everybody else, and then you have to take it off at the end of the day. Or, like me, you might say to them, wait, what time do I have to be here tomorrow? It's cool. I'm going home just like this. No one's going to know. I'm going to get in the car, get out of the car, go upstairs, watch some Chelsea Handler, look at my lines, do some push-ups, take a shower, go to bed, and I'm back here. So please, let's save everybody the time.
What a night.
Yeah.
Chelsea Handler, do some push-ups. I like it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of great TV in New Zealand, and I brought my Apple TV, and Chelsea Handler's on 3 times a week. So I got to watch her. It was something I looked forward to. I also watched a lot of horror movies to keep me inspired. Believe it or not, I don't think the creators of the show knowing, this season we pay homage to many great horror films that I loved as a kid, like Nightmare on Elm Street, The Craft, Weekend at Bernie's. So there's a lot of things that happened this season that I think the fans are really, really gonna love, and we get to see each character sort of go on their individual journey. Particularly Pablo sort of undergoes this journey where at the end of the season he's forever changed in a very similar way to Ash and the way that he was changed after the films and losing his hand. I think Pablo, tries to be the best sidekick and ultimately is forever changed by what happens to him this season.
I'm still trying to figure out the Weekend at Bernie's reference.
Don't think too hard about it. Don't think too hard about it. Let it go. You'll figure it out soon enough.
Describe Pablo to me in 3 words.
Pablo is idealistic. Pablo is a underdog. Pablo is charming.
Dude, you're awesome. Everybody, that's a perfect way to end it. Check out the new season, Ash vs. Evil Dead, man. Really enjoyed season 1. I was just telling you, we've been so busy. I have to get the Starz and be like, can you send me some screener episodes? It's one of the most fun shows on TV, man.
Oh, thank you.
You guys do such a great job, and each one of you was cast perfectly for this show. You are, I can't imagine anyone else but you playing Pablo. Dana's great as just the kicking ass as Kelly, and I mean, no one does what Bruce does. It's so great to see him back.
Yeah,
on
somehow
TV.
they've, Sam managed to choose
perfect
people, so you have to trust him. I mean, he chose us, and people always ask, were you afraid? And I always say, well, actually no, because the guy who created it chose me, and he said, I chose you for these reasons. Dana is the brains of the operation. Bruce is the muscle of the operation, and you are the heart of the operation. And as long as you remember that, it will always sort of guide you. So Pablo has a big heart, and so do I. And he recognized in me. He said, "You look like a good guy who's maybe been screwed over a couple times." So
that's quite the casting. That's quite the casting producer note right there. You look like the good guy who's been screwed over a few times. You want the part?
Hell yeah, I want the part. I mean, who would say no to doing this? I mean, this was
Sam's only made a couple $1 billion worth of his movies, right?
Well, they've all been really good, and he's made careers out of people, and I would be so lucky to have this opportunity. So I'm super stoked, and I think we've done an okay job, and I encourage the fans to reach out on social media and let us know what they like and they don't like, because oddly enough, these executive producers and the people who make this show, they listen, and they've allowed us to sort of have a hand in which way things sort of go, and I sometimes change my lines if I want to, or say, you know what, I kind of want to. I was thinking maybe of doing it like this. Maybe instead of that, what about if I just I don't know, fly across the room? And then the next thing you know, you're in a harness and you're flying across the room.
You gotta give me one more Pablo reaction shot to the camera. Ready?
Which one?
I'm gonna give you another Ash line. One more. I gotta add. That was
here or here?
To that camera right there. Ready? Pablo, what are you doing there with Kelly? Check out the new season of Ash vs. Evil Dead with this guy. Congrats, man.
Ba-da-ba!